Oh, good. Welcome to the Kern Fire Safe Council's June 2023 community-wide webinar. My name is David Stenstrom. I'm here this evening with Julia Newman and Cook Tot, who is our Kern Fire Safe Council's outreach coordinator. Kern Fire Safe Council offers webinars to Kern County residents to aid us in preparing us for wildfires, and as you will see, just about any other disaster nature has to offer. Being prepared for any emergency will save you some of your anxiety and could even save your life. So we live in California, and times being what they are, home insurance has become more and more expensive and more difficult or almost impossible to find, with some insurers even backing out of California altogether. Tonight, we can get some answers about that and answers to basic insurance questions or who to contact in case of insurance emergencies. The topic, if you don't know it, is insurance. And our speaker tonight is Richie Sayavong. He's Associate Governmental Program Analyst with the Community Relations and Outreach Branch of the California Department of Insurance. He's going to dispel some rumors, show some light, and try to explain what's new in California insurance law. Now, you guys, any questions that you have should be submitted to the chat room. Write them in, and we will answer as many as we can at the end of the talk. And we ask you, as you come in, to please mute yourself so you can put your questions in writing in the chat room. And so without further speaking, here's Richie Sayavong of the California Department of Insurance.
Thank you for the warm introduction, David. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Right. So, as David mentioned, my name is Richie Sayavong. I'm with the California Department of Insurance, and I'm glad to be here this evening to give you an update about what the California Department of Insurance is doing for constituents. So let me go over a quick overview about the California Department of Insurance and what the role of the insurance commissioner is. So we have a duly elected commissioner, and that is Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara. So the goal of the Department of Insurance is to protect consumers from fraud and abuse. We do regulate most lines of insurance and maintain insurance solvency, meaning that if you're filing an insurance claim, these insurance companies will have that money to pay you out, as well as setting standards for agents and broker licensing. If you are an insurance agent, you do have to go through our department to get your license to sell insurance here in California. We do perform market conduct reviews of insurance companies, and that is available on our website to also give you more information when you're shopping for insurance, whether it being home, fire, life, auto, any of the sort. We do resolve consumer complaints. So when you do call us, we do address those complaints, and we make sure those insurance companies hear you out and that they address any issues that you may have. We do have a branch that is specifically there to investigate and prosecute insurance fraud. And the big thing that we have to mention is that we cannot require or compel insurance companies to sell you insurance to a particular community or group of people. Next slide. So what have we been doing lately with the Department of Insurance, also known as CDI? So since the wildfires really happened during COVID, and even before then, up until now, it's been a call to action for our department to be out here to see Californians and survivors that have been affected by wildfires throughout the whole state. And the commissioner did have us come out of our offices to come and meet you. And we've met with more than 150,000 people through 40 different counties, 58 counties actually, throughout the whole state, to hear your concerns regarding availability and affordability of insurance. And we really had to take all that into consideration as we look for solutions. And of course, the very first thing that we learned is that wildfires are not just a Northern California thing, it's a statewide issue. So a quick progress report on what we've done recently is listening to you and our first responders. We tackled the immediate need, meaning the commissioner started working with the legislature on laws that help wildfire survivors, including increasing payouts and benefits as well as increasing coverage for building code upgrades. And if consumers were experiencing losses, they should receive the benefits they paid for with their coverage. And we've also implemented a law that the commissioner wrote while he served in the state Senate, giving temporary protection to more than 4 million residential policyholders in the areas that the governor declared a national emergency. And this law does give 1 year protection, regardless whether you suffered a loss, helping give people security and help stabilize the markets. And additionally, we did increase the non-renewal that insurers must give you from 45 days to 75 days, allowing more time to find alternative insurance following a non-renewal. So we've also ordered improvements to the FAIR Plan. As you know, the FAIR Plan is the insurer of last resort. And what you may not know is that the FAIR Plan is not a state agency, nor is it a public entity. It is a fire insurance pool comprised of all insurers doing business here in California. And just another fact, the FAIR Plan was established by statute in August of 1968. And while the commissioner took his first term in office, he did increase the FAIR Plan's coverage limits that haven't been increased in decades, while the consumer price index has doubled over that time. So these coverage increase for both dwelling and commercial policies, giving people twice the coverage they've had before. And in addition, we have worked with the legislature to authorize coverage for farms, wineries, and other agricultural businesses, which were previously prevented under law from accessing the FAIR Plan. And then finally, the commissioner ordered the FAIR Plan to offer a more comprehensive option alongside its standard limited policy. The FAIR Plan did sue us, but a judge did uphold the commissioner's authority and they did appeal it. So the commissioner is still fighting until consumers do have this option. So the little segue of the homeowners association. So if you are part of a homeowners association, this regulation does include both commercial and residential insurance lines. As far as property and individual buildings within an HOA, they will need to be recognized for the mandatory property level mitigation factors that I will list in the regulations. So you're curious, what am I talking about in regards to regulations? So the commissioner gathered all of the governor's emergency response as far as CAL FIRE, Governor's Office of Emergency Services, Cal OES. So the commissioner met with them and saw that they were tackling wildfires all on their own, not really having the same type of communication. So the commissioner held a meeting and we developed a Safer from Wildfires framework called 123, simply by input from you, the constituents, as well as Cal OES. So let's dive into it. So it's 3 basic concepts. So the first being protecting your home or business, protecting the immediate surroundings, and protecting the whole community. And I'll dive into them right now. So protecting your home or business, essentially that means you are, putting a Class A fire rated roof, a 5-foot ember resistant zone around the house, around the structure, non-combustible 6 inches at the bottom of the walls, ember and fire resistant vents, and double pane windows or added shutters and enclosed eaves. So the second part into it is protecting your immediate surroundings, meaning clearing the vegetation debris from under decks and any sheds, outbuildings, at least moving them at least 30 feet away, having that fire line, as well as trimming trees and removing brush in compliance with local and state defensible space laws. Next would be, and of course, a very, very crucial part is a community. As a community, you work as a whole in protecting your structures. That includes programs like Firewise, which brings neighbors together to protect their homes. The community-wide part is very critical. By working together, you can do much more than you can do on your own. And it makes your community much safer with this new framework. And there's really nothing more frustrating than you doing a lot of work to ensure your home is safe, but still getting dropped by your insurance because your neighbor's home is a fire hazard. I do have to mention that the Safer from Wildfire framework does align with the recommendations from the state fire marshals, low-cost retrofit list, and fire chiefs across the state, along with recommendations from the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety, United Policyholders, and among other groups. So this is just a quick summary of what the Safer from Wildfires framework can do for you as far as helping you get an insurance discount, which I can dive into shortly after this slide. So just some information there. It's what I mentioned in the framework as far as roof, the ember resistant zone, the vents, all that stuff. And most importantly, the vegetation. That is a big thing that we hear quite about. But let's dive into how these regulations lower the cost and increase transparency. So we're going to require insurance companies to provide discounts to homeowners and businesses for hardening their homes. Because you're putting in this work into your home and improving your structure itself, they have to recognize that. So we're providing that transparency about your wildfire risk score. So for the first time, this new regulation requires insurance companies to give you your wildfire risk score for your property, and they have to tell you how they created that score and what factors went into that score and what goes into those scores or classification, provided you are applying for a new or renewing your policy. These are when you receive your wildfire risk score. So the first being when you apply for a new policy, before you renew a policy, which is within 45 days, before you're non-renewed at least 75 days before, and when you complete mitigation on your property and request a revised score within 30 days. And by creating this regulation to appeal, it's giving the power back to consumers. And if you're not satisfied with the response, the Department of Insurance is here to assist with that. The insurance companies did submit their new rate filings on April 12th, and those are currently being approved. So if you are renewing this year, you will see a difference in your rate, your insurance premium, and of course, you can get your risk score at that time as well. We did hold a public hearing on April 13th of 2022, and these regulations were approved and put into law on October 14th. So the framework is working. So the premium discounts are now available. 2 out of 5 of every consumer gets to up to 20% of discounts for wildfire hardening homes, 6 times increase since 2019. So before, a lot of consumers weren't receiving this discount. And Safer from Wildfires gets all insurance companies to offer this discount for mitigation. And we do have all the insurance companies that are offering the current discount for what you do. What a lot of consumers in my area, because I do serve the Central Valley and the Central Coast, by establishing Firewise, it definitely offers more of a discount for those that are in those communities. And oh goodness, I'm gonna have to go through the slides real quick. And then here is a little bit of information about the Community Relations Outreach Branch. So my branch in particular, we are here to engage with consumers throughout the state. Given the area that I do serve Kern County. So if there's ever events that you're looking for some information about the Department of Insurance, I'm here as well to travel and participate in your events. And since 2019, we've met with more than 150,000 people, 875 virtual events and in-person events throughout the whole state of California. And here's some more information regarding grants for supporting letters and grant programs for wildfire resilience and prevention. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would love this information on here. The Fire Safe Council, I'm pretty sure, interested in this as well. But at this time, if you ever having any questions or issues about your insurance, whether it being homeowners, fire, life, auto, anything of the sort, give our website a visit. It's insurance.ca.gov, or you can give our consumer hotline a call at 800-927-4357. I do have to mention, when you do call Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 or 8 to 4:30, you will get a live agent within 2 minutes. But this will conclude my presentation. Are there any questions for me?
There are, and hold on just a minute, I'll turn my video on. Okay, David, did you have any questions you want to start with?
No, go right ahead. Go right
Okay.
ahead. I appreciate this.
Okay, yeah. So Richie, you know, California Fair Plan, you're talking about the rates.
Mhm.
Are they really coming down? Because right now it's just too expensive for most residents. And a lot of people are having problems getting insured with them. They'll come out and say, this sign's not right, this isn't right, we can't insure the property because of this. So there's a lot of excuses and people are getting very frustrated.
Yes. So what I do have to mention is that today, the fair plan only represents about 3% of the overall homeowners market. So it is still very competitive. So consumers do have the option to shop elsewhere. This is something that, of course, is a big thing, especially for communities that are on fixed income. It's something that we want to address and want to, take back to the fair plan. Like, listen, you shouldn't be charging consumers $12,000-$13,000 for the most minimum of coverages when they are trying to pay for their cost of living, paying for the medication, things such as that. So that is something that we and the commissioner have been pushing against the fair plan to really, really drive down the cost on this. And I do have to mention, with my meetings throughout the state and having talked to other consumers, they're saying, you're not locked into just the agent in your area. Being a consumer here in California, you have the option to shop wherever you like. As long as your agent is licensed here in California, you are able to get a fire insurance policy. One of the big things that, I've learned and, understood is that a lot of insurance agents within an area that are inundated with a lot of non-renewals for fire policies, homeowners policies, it's nearly impossible to get a policy written by that agent in your area. So what I have, from other consumers, they're saying, I was able to get a fire policy and my agent's in San Francisco. So if it's in a different area throughout the state, as long as they are a licensed agent here in California, and you can look that up on our website as well, you are able to shop in various parts of the states, because that's really what I've noticed, and some people have been successful in that. But yes.
Yeah. Well, where I live in the middle of the forest on a mountain,
Mhm.
Most insurance companies aren't insuring anymore. State Farm is leaving. They're leaving this whole state of California, I believe. And I know people that have gotten canceled by farmers, and I can't remember all the names, but there's a lot of people up here just don't know what to do because they can't get insurance.
Yes, so I do have to dispel that information about State Farm leaving the state, as well as any other insurance company planning to leave the state. California is the largest insurance marketplace in the United States, and it's fourth largest in the world. It would be foolish for State Farm or other insurance companies to leave the state, because California is a very, very lucrative market as far as, the various policies and types of insurances that we offer. They're really big on automotive as well. So with a lot of concern drawing, the rate increase and all that, for our department to approve that rate increase, it has to be justified, just so consumers here know as well that it's not, they're just going to raise it to raise it. It's still a big effect throughout the United States as well. I'm pretty sure State Farm has also stopped selling policies in other states as well, just so they can adjust and recoup their losses during COVID, as well as trying to make sure that they have the money to stay solvent. That's a really big factor that's playing into a lot of these states pausing on creating new policies.
So I don't know, still the big question is, what do you do when all these, and I'm sure the cities aren't having a problem getting insurance, but those of us that live in the more rural areas are having a real issue. And that's why we're so happy you're here this evening, because people just don't know what to do. They're getting canceled right and left.
May I ask also within this question, I've had friends who, I have not had problems, but knock on wood, but friends I've had, and so and they've been recommended to go to the California Fair program. But insurance sometimes seems to be very subjective. And, one company won't say anything about something, and then another company will. There's a lot of movement inside there. Is that because of profit, or is that because of their actuarial tables are different, or and should we just keep looking for going from one insurance company to another to try to find somebody to cover it?
Yeah, so essentially you know, a lot of people, they would get a policy where it's a DIC, different in conditions. That is a possibility for some constituents if they want more coverage for their home. But when you're going to your question, David, yeah, in regards to shopping for insurance, you do have that right to go shop around for what is more suited for your needs, and if it's the right price point. And that's what we're trying to really push on the insurance companies. They already have accepted our regulations, so we should be seeing a more competitive market when it comes to insuring homes because of the regulation, because of the work that you put into your home. These insurance companies are required to recognize that. And if there's an unfair communication in between your wildfire risk score, say you got a higher score from a different company, but another company gives you a lower score, you're able to appeal that with us, and we are able to look into it a little deeper and discuss with the insurance companies exactly what's going on, because we given, you know, the power back to the consumers to really, really fight back and, you know, determine what's right for them. And that is a big factor that the commissioner is really, really pushing, is for the market to be more competitive.
Okay, that's good to hear. So I have a question here. It says, where can you shop if nobody insures? But I think you pretty much answered that.
So yes,
Go ahead.
so our website is free of resource. We have plenty of resources available. You can put in your zip code on our website and it'll pull just the agents and brokers in your area. And there is a filter as well that you can see if they're offering the fair plan if you are looking to go that route. And you know, the biggest thing that I tell consumers, and everybody, it seems to resonate with everybody, like the fair plan's not fair. There's no way or shape that they are a fair, you know, entity that is conducting all this. But the insurance companies, they are all part of the fair plan because they are writing homeowners policies or fire insurance policies. That's why it's kind of in that pool. So, you know, it's not, it's written by statute that they are supposed to offer the fair plan as one of their policies in order to do business here.
Okay. And what about when you go to buy a new home? If you're getting a mortgage, you have to have insurance. They require it or you can't get the mortgage. So is there anything, is like Sacramento working on trying to mitigate this problem? And I know this doesn't happen everywhere in the state. It's mostly in what we call the WUI areas, the wildland, urban interface areas, in the middle of the forest, on the mountain. People are just, I know a few people that the escrow fell through because they couldn't get the insurance.
Yeah, so that is a common thing. And you know, we work with so it's a different branch or department that really determines what mortgages are required for insurance. But yes, it's one of those more frustrating things that I've seen as well. You know, I met a family that was building a new home out in the Yosemite West area, and they're like, well, are we even going to get insured, or you know, are we going to stop building? It's a major concern, and that's definitely something that I can take back with my team and we can discuss, and I'll get that information to you, Julia.
Okay, that would be great, because that's a real concern for some people. And I know they're hesitant to even try to buy a house now because they've been turned down a couple times. It's okay. The questions are piling up here. Okay, Kurt has a question. Current fire coverage doesn't include earthquake coverage. Can you address the earthquake coverage affordability and high deductibles?
So in regards to the earthquake authority, that is a separate state entity that does regulate. We regulate the insurance for earthquakes, but we particularly, that is something new in California as well. And that information would be more on the earthquake authority website, as well as if there's concerns about flooding, there's the National Flooding authority as well. Yes.
Yeah, so they're three separate insurance: fire, earthquake, and flood. And
Yes.
you have to get them separately. And can you get insurance from different companies? Like if one company doesn't give
Yes.
flood and earthquake?
Yes.
Okay.
So you
That's
can
good.
shop wherever you like. And, if you're feeling safe with one agent or you're liking how the rates are looking for that, then, you have that right to, get that policy written. And if there's something that you don't like on there, or if you're questioning, definitely give us a call. We are able to look at those policies a little bit more in depth.
Okay. And I have another question from Kara Cooper here. How can you get an individual discount for your home for mitigation? And are all insurance companies giving it or just a few?
So the fire mitigation, we have told all the insurance companies to provide that information. Let me find the link real quick. But as far as information on that, yes. So the insurance companies are required to provide those discounts for the fire mitigation. So once you have made those improvements to your home, do submit that to your insurance company so they see that it's done. If you are shopping for a new insurance, definitely, have an agent or a broker come out and, definitely look at those improvements. I have the link here, so let me provide that on the chat to everyone.
There you go. Yeah. I see it.
So yes, most fire insurance companies are providing it. Pretty soon, all the insurance companies will have to be providing a discount for that. Question: is there any Firewise communities within the Fire Safe Council that are established out there?
Not yet, not in Kern County, but
Mhm.
we are moving toward that the
Perfect.
best we can. And I'll tell you in a minute after I ask this next question. I'll tell you
Mhm.
what we're doing.
Okay.
Is there a program in the state to offer rebates or discounts for low income people?
Ooh, yes, I would definitely look into that question, and
Okay,
we'll
good. Because
definitely get
that
that.
seems to me to be a necessity.
Yeah, that is definitely something we want to address.
Okay, and then I have, before I tell you what we're doing here, I have one other question. So if a person is not insured and a wildfire comes through, will FEMA pick up some of the slack? I mean, what kind of help can we expect from FEMA if we're not insured?
So in regards to FEMA, I know that it has to be declared by the governor, and even so it goes to FEMA from the governor. Cal OES will be out there, FEMA, and then SBA is also another government agency that will assist in the recovery process as well. So it would go FEMA, then SBA, and then like Habitat for Humanity usually assists with that as well. So it depends on, if it's declared. If it is declared, then those services will be provided for those that are uninsured.
Okay, that's great. At
Mhm.
least there's a little bit of help out there.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're doing, the Kern Fire Safe Council, is doing the hazard ignition zone assessments. And we just recently worked with Team Rubicon, which is a volunteer organization made up of veterans, retired veterans. And it's an amazing organization. And these guys are so trained, and they have tree cutters, as they call sawyers, and for all different level trees. And we just ran a pilot program, a 4-week pilot program up here. We actually had 60 homes sign up, 60 homeowners signed up. We were able to do 50 of the assessments, and some of the homes really needed a lot of help for one reason or another. And Team Rubicon came and they cut down trees and they cleared hillsides and they did amazing work. So that's step one. And then we got a grant to do this on a 5-year basis. So for the next 5 years, we're going to be doing the whole mountain from the 5 freeway all the way to Pine Mountain Club, and trying to get in all the homes and clear as much of the mountain as we can within those 5 years. There's going to be chipper days and things like that. So that's one step that we are taking toward being a Firewise community and trying to integrate all of their values and their steps and things like that. Whether we get there or not, we don't know, but we're sure making the effort to try. And then the next grant, we'll try to bring it. We're hoping to be able to go to Tehachapi and then over on the Yosemite side to the Sierras and do this in our WUI areas over there. So that's what we're doing.
Okay.
And
Yes.
yeah,
ahead,
go
Julie.
ahead. And somebody would like you to address more about what other steps we could take to become FireWise.
Yeah, so in regards to Firewise, because you guys are part of the Sierra Mountains, I do have a person of contact. Her name is Chelsea Hutchinson. She is a wonderful person to connect with. She is working in Fresno County to help establish Firewise communities out here. And I believe they just received some more grants to do more, assessments and, mitigation. So I will definitely connect her with you, Julia, so that way you can get in touch with her and start, getting the steps toward Firewise. And in Fresno County, I want to mention there's only like one Firewise community out here. So they're starting to establish more out here, and a lot of people are starting to recognize, it's a community effort in protecting your homes.
That would be great. And the person that really needs to talk to her is Cook
Mhm.
and our outreach coordinator. But if you refer her to me, I'll introduce them and get that going.
Perfect.
That would be great. Thank you, Richie. Really appreciate that. David, do you have any more
Richie,
questions?
yeah, I do have one. When someone buys a home or someone is concerned with, with being canceled or, losing coverage, and if we go to your website, how easy is it to navigate that so we can find real answers as far as, we're jumping over the fence and going into your playground and we don't know the terminology, we don't know the processes and stuff. Is your website explain enough that we can motor through that?
Oh yes, definitely. Our hotline is definitely here to assist at any time that consumers have any questions for insurance needs and possible. There is a form on our website as well. It's called a request for assistance or an RFA. And you can write down your questions, whatever issues that you have. An agent will reach out to you and answer and help you navigate. Because I myself, insurance is very confusing. And for many people, it's something that has a lot of terms and a lot of information. So definitely our website is there to assist with that. We do have, as I mentioned, our free guides. One really, really wonderful tool that we have. We have the top 10 tips. Don't get scammed after a disaster. Also, a wonderful piece of information is the home inventory guide for many of those that own homes. You don't really consider, if something happens, I'll remember every single item in this room. This home inventory guide allows you to go through each room of your household, write down the value, write down what it is. And when you need to file your claim with your insurance company, it's all there for you to head off to your agent.
And so like the values of things in the room are what you paid for them or what they are a fair market value or?
I believe fair market value or purchase price as well.
Okay. That's great. You've given a lot of insight today and I really, really appreciate it. It's just when you go, and our world is so complicated and then there's people that sit in offices try to make it just a little bit more complicated because this is a cool term and we're selling a textbook. So we're going to put this one in there. So you have to learn that one instead of that one. And it's things like that that just drive people crazy. And then they give up, they throw up their hands. And then what? Then something happens and they just shrug their shoulders. Well, you're not covered. And that's a real awful thing to say to somebody. And so it's really, really important. What your work is so important for all of us to know that you're there and to reach out and not be intimidated by all the verbiage, all the words and all the terminology that we don't know. But if we have helped anybody listening today to navigate this confusing topic, then it's good for us all. And you are available on your website.
He
Our
put the
website.
link in the chat. He put the link in the chat. I just want to call everybody's
Is that the link?
attention.
Okay,
to that.
good. Okay, so look that link up and that'll lead you to them. That's great.
Yes.
Is there any other questions then? Don't all hold up your hand. All right. Well, Richie, thank you very, very much. My insurance feels a little bit less, less like wearing a raccoon coat, but I really appreciate that. And for all of you watching, the kernfiresafe.org website has a section where you can voice your opinion, your concerns, you can give advice. You can refer to this webinar as well as any other webinar I've had, and there have been a bunch of them. Also, we want to serve the community. That's our job. So if you have an idea for a webinar, please let us know. And remember, there are many resources on that website to help you on this and a lot of other topics. Just take a look. It's just the biggest part of it is remembering to look, because it's just right there, and and it's always on. You can review our previous webinars on that website also. And as always, your feedback is welcome. We are a service of Kern Fire Safe Council to Kern County and to these our little mountain communities. Julia.
Yes, and I would like to say that in a couple of weeks, you can go to our website and find out more information about the home ignition zone assessment project. And you can see pictures of what went on of before and after some of the properties that we cleared. So you can get an idea of what that project's about. And then we should be starting that up again later in the summer or early in the fall. And so you'll have an opportunity to sign up for that if you live here on the mountain, anywhere from the 5 freeway up to the top of the mountain to Pine Mountain Club. Includes Pinyon Pines, Lake of the Woods, all those areas. So definitely learn about that and consider becoming involved in that and getting your home done.
Well, there's so many little communities in these mountains.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm glad to be part of this group, and I wish that more people knew of it, and I wish that they would be able to unify. I mean, I can't do anything by myself, but with other members of other small communities, suddenly I have a voice, and that's really, really great. And it's really important to remember that. So y'all remember that website, and you call us, give us a call Richie. Yeah, but that's all we have for right now. I'm David Stenstrom, along with thank you for Richie Sayavong and Julia for being with us. And we wish you a safe summer. We're going to be gone until September. So the rest of you, be careful, party safely, enjoy the weather, and we will see you in September. That's David Stenstrom. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Richie.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a
Rich.
good evening, everybody.
You too.